interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back, bitches. So what does it all mean? I'm finally back and there's no more revisited media, even though I have enough, probably not as much as Prince, but I figure if I do 3 to 4 episodes and then go on hiatus where I can work on other things like I worked on the past 6 weeks, you can expect PIT, book tea, Star Trek tea, sports tea, pop culture tea, and reality TV tea. And in between, you could also expect republishing and chair twerking because I have bad knees and feet. Thank you for joining me for this episode of TNFro is Reading, or a bonus episode of TNFro's Bar if I get sponsors, but not until then. And enjoy this shake mix.
Lift every chair and swing till all them white folks scream. Thought y'all could run up on our black king.
That is affectionately Lift Every Chair and Swing, right in time for the first anniversary of FAAFO Day, August 5th, known colloquially as the Alabama Broil or the Alabama Riverboat Broil. But as I said, it's officially the FAAFO Day. Mad shout out to the polite kid. He looked like a Brendan at Kangaroo Repair Shop in Chattanooga. My iMac made a sad little sound and it won't boot up. So hopefully I'll hear something by Monday, which makes me happy. But this actual read is for the pale-faced, underfed clerk and her big belly bosses with Wright's jewelry. But before I get into that, I also want to give a satisfying screw you to Bank of America Home Equity Department. Y'all are garbage. Y'all are trash. 2018, there was a federal investigation into modern redlining in Philadelphia, but it was shelved at the behest of the Trump administration. Y'all need to reopen that and unshelve that case and give the people the money that they need to investigate that shit, because they still doing it. They make up any excuse not to allow people to access funds that are rightfully theirs in the equity game. So screw y'all, screw Mila and the rest of and everybody else in your department. But this Wright's jewelry shit just happened this past Saturday. I was going along my day after I dropped off my computer, as I stated before, at Kangaroo. Right up the road is a jewelry store. I have a garage door opener for said house. It needed a new battery. I had noticed or had found out that most jewelry stores will actually not only change a watch battery, but they'll also change a garage door opener. My usual local jewelry store, mad shout out to Chattanooga Jewelry Company, they're closed on Saturday morning. Dang it. And plus, they have a second location downtown, but I didn't really want to deal with parking downtown. But I digress. This all goes back to racism, because racism will make you dismissive. You basically will dismiss a potential customer just because they don't look like you want them to look. I know y'all clocked me what I pulled up in when I pulled up into your empty parking lot. Nobody really said hello, not even a head nod. The owners, who I recognized from a local commercial, were working with a Caucasian couple as they were haggling over a discount for your laboratory grown jewels. But again, I digress. So I approached pale-faced Brianna, underfed Brianna. I asked her, I have my garage door opener. Are y'all able to basically change the battery for me? And Brianna takes it over, calls over to the couple, big belly couple, and says, she looks at me up and down and she says, if we have it, and then dismisses me and goes back and talks to the white couple. I'm like, huh. I smiled and I was like, and I perked up, and that was it. And I'm like, okay. So Brianna takes the device back to the back, and I assume, because I could see her through the door, he's asked him. I guess the person checks, and then he gets to work to changing the device. So I sit down and I started looking around. I placed my Gucci bag on the counter. And yes, I have worn Gucci in the past, but this was real Gucci. FYI. And again, you saw what I pulled up in. So I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around. They're still haggling with old boy couple. That's big belly in them. And then she brings it back. I take my device back. We exchange. I give her $15 without, is there anything that you would like to look at? I noticed with the necklace that you have on, which was custom, that I had made custom from Brownlee in Charlotte. That was it. No, none of that. I'm surrounded by all this bling, and nobody asked me a damn thing. Do you know how stupid you have to be in this economic environment to basically thwart your blessings? Y'all just assumed that, number one, I wasn't either worth trying to upsell, or you weren't just trying to be polite. You had all these missed opportunities, and all you got from me was 15 bones and for a garage door opener battery change. But you just assume that I wouldn't be willing to not only drop coin in excess of the $15 I just gave you, because I had more than that on me, FYI, drop more than just the $15 on this blasted battery, but I would have dropped even more, and you miss a larger 6% commission and any future business, because I do custom, and I would also come back and figure it out or get more cash and buy something else. But you allow your own short-sightedness through racism to basically thwart your own blessings. In this economic crisis, not only am I going to continue to drag you online because of you stupid, but if this happens to get read on the read, it would be great, because then more people will hear it and not give you your business, because y'all dumb as hell. Who wants to spend money on people that don't want you, that really don't think you're worth to spend your hard-earned money in their shop? And I'm also petty. If you do survive, because again, we're in a very difficult market, I'm also petty as hell. I'm willing to purchase everything that I could have purchased from you, from somebody else, put it all on and come back in your shop just like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Big, big mistake. Huge. And that's all I got to say about that. You burn yourself through your short-sightedness. You basically should treat everybody like they're Usher's cousin and treat them with respect, like they are willing to come into your shop, be your patron because you're local. That's the whole point about me looking for jewelry shops. I could have gone to Jared. I could have gone somewhere else. Y'all are local and y'all are right there. But y'all act like you are in some vacuum that nobody's coin matters. Except if they are white, that means they must be white. Right. And I think that's going to be your downfall. So there you go. And that's all I got to say about that. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? A scam is a scam. There are some frauds so well conducted that it would be stupid not to be deceived by them. This is an old school fraudster, Charles Caleb Colton, a 19th century British kook. He was a cleric, a writer, and he himself was a scammer. He fled from his creditors, ended up in the gambling salons in France, won a fortune, lost a fortune, and then he killed himself instead of going through some type of surgery. I don't know if I would want to go through surgery without antibiotics and clean, sterile tech. This week in fraud. Housing or migrant crisis be damned. I want to see Bay and Turkey Child. That's what I can imagine Eric Adams basically saying when he took one of the 4 investigations alleging taking illegal travel benefits while in office. And his grift goes back to 2014 when he was Brooklyn Bureau president. But he's in great company, albeit all white. And he thought he's going to get away with it from what it sounds like. But what separates him is he's a black man in America, only the second black mayor of New York. And he's not going to skate around this. They coming for it, and they coming for all the coins. I mention this because in the Sunday New York Times, they talk about the only other sitting mayor, what's his name? A. Oakley Hall, who was indicted and convicted back in 1872. He held the distinction of being the only New York mayor active who was indicted. However, it was the Tammany Halls and the Marcy Tweeds that were known and gave the expectation of politicians being on the take and corrupt. Ed Koch, one of my favorite bisexual or just actually gay, because I think he came out after he left office. You know, all of them rife with scandal, some actually survived it more than others. But this grift that's going on in New York right now, they're on some stuff. As I said, there are 4 open federal investigations, the one being biggest, which I read the 52-page indictment, alleges that, and they basically detail this fool, Eric Adams, that is, started back in 2014 when he started having close and inappropriate ties for financial gain with the Turkish people, the Turkish folks, maybe probably the Turkish government. He ran and was elected for governor. I think he probably had his eyesight on being governor, but he ran and was elected mayor in 2021. Ex-police captain, still has close ties with his cronies, who evidently this week actually resigned. Ran on a platform of crime busting, but at the same time, he talking out the side of his neck. He was still doing crime. And it just goes back to the fact that the U.S. government, these alphabet boys in the long game, by the time you get deposed or you get served, they already got evidence for your conviction. 96% conviction rate. They do not pick a fight that they can't win. They're very, very good at it. And it makes me wonder that who leaked it, or they just been onto him for a while and they just wanted him to sink deeper and deeper because he's sloppy. He is like the worst criminal ever. He wanted to have all the appearance of being a baller, but you are public service. What does being you in public service have to do with you going viral? What is that? Why do you want to be an influencer? You want the limelight, you want all the prestige, you want all the glamour and the glory, you want to wield the power, but you don't want to do the work. New York has big ass problems. Your income and even though cost of living has skyrocketed, incomes have stagnated. People are being priced out of their homes. They got these great jobs, or they're working 4 jobs and still can't afford $5,000 a month on a studio apartment. But you still taking bribes. You still taking having straw voters and having the people of New York and all these high taxes match your funds. And it's like you don't care. If there's a Turkish community center that is speaking ill about the Turkish government, you'll actually shut that shit down, because that's what some of the allegations are saying from your time back in 2014, 2015 said. You don't care that the building that you're pressuring the fire chief to approve for occupancy is a fire trap, as long as it opens during some dignitary's visit. You're lining your pockets, having your tailored suits, flying Lux class, staying in luxury hotels, going to concerts. That was more important. Your gain, your image was more important than what you actually was elected to do, to the tune of millions at this point. And they coming for it. If they can draw a direct line to any of your apartments, travel, cars, even bikes, they want their money. And you directed the people. And that shows just how slow you are, because they didn't hide anything. And even though you told them to hide it, they didn't do it. They used their own cell phones, got all this metadata, and they still is going to be used to basically convict all of y'all because they haven't named these people, but your campaign manager, they're your deputy, the police commissioner, all of them are going to get hemmed up. Everybody going to jail. Because these allegations, if you are convicted of just what they have indicted you on for this investigation, you going to jail for decades. You spend a decade grifting, now you're going to spend decades in the federal penitentiary because you stupid. 2014, 2015, you wanted to cultivate more corrupt relationships. You were still the bureau president at that time. 2015, 2017, lots of illegal travel and hospitality. Took it all. You supposed to have claimed it, didn't. Lied about that you had paid for it and didn't. Had instructed your people to cover it up. They didn't. Probably got mad and told on your butt. And just led to more electronic and paper bread crumbs for the FBI boys, the ABC boys to get up with you with. Started raising money for your 2021 campaign, ramping up travel and hospitality, went back to Istanbul to solicit more foreign contributions in Jordan and Oman 2019, 2020, and then took money from a local businessman who, from a construction company, to get ill-gotten favors, then took matching funds during the pandemic Pro-V. Then your staffers started shaking down other promoters and other people to get more money on your behalf. You continue the grift well into 2022 by meeting more business people and appointing some of these Turkish dignitaries to your cabinet. Then in 2023, the FBI said, we on to y'all up. The gig is up. And then people started calling for your resignation because the charges and allegations were that serious. You basically doubled down on stupid and still had fundraisers for some business people to give more money illegally. Maybe you were trying to store up for your legal defense because you know your house of cards was getting ready to come down. Count one of the current indictment that was just unsealed this week. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud for a federal project, bribery. Count 2, wire fraud. Count 3 and 4, solicitation of contributions by a foreign national. Count 5, bribery. And at the end of the statement, you forfeiture. If they again draw a direct line to any of this money, they're coming for it. And the people that you paid off, and then they bought something, they are implicated. They coming for your stuff too. We talking about freezing accounts. We talking about seizing and forcing the sale of businesses, forced bankruptcy, forced flash sales of houses. This is the kind of stuff. You can't build a legacy on a shoddy house of cards, because if it's illegally gotten, the hens are coming home to roost, and they taking it all, and you have nothing. And if you had just did your job, the fame would have come if you had shown just some competency in your job. If you had used your power favorably and just did the job that you were elected for, you still could have been an influencer and you could have still proven other people wrong. Now you're going to get forced out of office, going to be broke as a joke, known as a snake, and you ain't going to be able to do any of this stuff. That's what just blows my mind. Politicians, rappers, y'all just squander opportunity. Just absolutely shameful.
The Shady Bunch, the Shady Bunch. I hope turning up for checks to pay for fake live. Hope turn.
Carlos King of one of my favorite podcasts, Reality with the King, had said this over and over. Real Housewives of the OC is probably one of the best of the franchise on Bravo at this time. And I just realized I haven't really been following his interviews as much since on YouTube, that is, since his since this season has started. But I don't know about y'all. I'm having some difficulty getting into or rooting for anybody in his own reality TV show. Love and Marriage, Detroit. I don't know what's going on with Huntsville and why it's not coming back. Also, it's hard for me to get into that too, because as Mel, as the producer who was one of the cast members, I don't know if that's working out well. Her nasally voice, her superior attitude, being a producer and also in front of camera talent, it's kind of annoying. I don't know. But anyways, I do agree with him as far as the OC. This past week, I'm probably going to watch it again because there's really not a whole bunch on TV. Even with this show I'm watching, my other show is 90 Day Fiancé the other way. I'm watching this lady. She's been married to this really cute Scottish. I think he's either Scottish or Irish for 2 years. And they just told everybody on the show. Makes no sense to me. Her mom is overbearing Italian lady from upstate New York somewhere. And yeah, she gets on my nerves too. But anyways, back to the OC. This is really, we're only 10 episodes in. We haven't seen all of the mess, but this season is gearing up to bring back the trash to the franchise that all of us watch the franchise for. It's not manufactured. We don't have people doing private investigations to bring some really hurtful and awful stuff on camera. I find the conversation between Jen and her son was a bit cringy because he didn't realize that your mama is broke as a joke and she's 46-year-old and she's trying to advise you and she don't even know how to pay her bills because she never had to, but she got 5 kids and she's living with this guy that's probably getting ready to be indicted and charged by the federal government, the ABC boys. How is she going to guide you? It was real because he says he wants to wild out. And look who his role models are. Garbage. And the biggest thing that Emily, who is a curvy girl, I think she has a slight speech impediment, measurements. What the heck is that, Emily? And she overreacted. And no, the dress, both of the dresses were too tight on you as well as on Jesus Drugs. So I don't know what you're thinking about. And also, Heather ain't thinking about you or your curves, because whatever weight she is now, it is not healthy. She's Heather DeSkeletal. Um, she also has said it, and the people that actually have some type of dysmorphic or body morphic imageries, they can basically look at other people and judge their weight and how beautiful they are in their own skin, but they just can't do it on their part. I think she does have maybe some body dysmorphia, because I don't know if she looks at herself and thinks, oh yeah, this looks good. Skeletal decolletage and them little ass legs in the tight pants. How can you have biker shorts that can't be tight and they look like little pins? And she's such a trip because she did not want Dr. Terry DeBro to correct her on camera about something medical. Bitch, you ain't a doctor. That's what I really wanted to yell out. Yes, I don't think you intentionally tried to fat shame Emily. Yes, Tamara or that other, or Jen probably would, but no, I don't think she had that, because she would never do that, because I don't think she sees you as fat. So yes, you did overreact and you need to dial that back. Jesus Jug just needs to take a chill pill. They need to either adjust her meds or do something else, because she inserted herself into a conflict where there shouldn't have been no conflict. She should have de-escalated it instead of inflating it, like her boobs. But that kind of stupid back and forth is what we also live for too. It was so dumb, but it was still on brand for the franchise. And this is one of the things that probably saved, what's her name? The little Asian girl. She was like, oh, you're hot. No, I'm not. You think I'm fat. That was funny. That her going back and forth about the game of telephone between Emily and the bro. That was hilarious. And I think we actually finally got to see about her dry sense of humor, and even with her husband, the back and forth at how they describe their observations on the stupidity of everybody else in this group. Freaking hilarious. Even though it was kind of cringy, it also had a further glimpse into the Tamra Judge of it all, as well into, her name is not Gina. What is that girl's name? The Asian girl. Her daughter, who is stunning, and how the mother's actions affect these other women's, the next generation of women's outlook on marriage and also having kids. That was also slightly cringy, but relatable. And it made me think that, wow, this is how their true glimpse into their real life and the conversations that they actually having on camera that some people are probably having every day, and the balance you actually have to meet with it. They just seem to be so much well adjusted, more so than probably their own mothers were at this age. And they're both beautiful girls. And this is also when there's actually not just alliances, but real friendships between the castmates. And we can actually see it going through, and it doesn't seem so forced and so negative. What I'm looking for now, because I want to be an everlasting fraud buster, is this beef between Ryan and Eddie. It just seems that Ryan wants to be Eddie or vice versa, but the FBI, the ABC boys, are coming after them. Tamara needs to basically have many seats, because if it's not true and she says something out of turn, she could actually either implicate herself or she could actually be brought up for defamation. So she's going to need to be careful. You think her having to run in with Jim Bellino or Jesus Jug's ex-husband would have taught her a thing or two about popping off. But I think Eddie is right to be quiet and hushing her. He's going to dig his own grave. Let his mouth dig his own grave. You don't have to say anything. If there's any truth to it, when they come for you, if they already raided his business partner, a deposition or a raid is coming for the Ryan of it all. Let him write his own storyline. You don't have to do anything. Y'all say y'all like Jen, just support her. And because that's what the FBI does. I talked about this before. The ABCs come to and only make charges, or when those charges finally drop, they already got their case and they know they're going to not only be able to prosecute it, but they also going to get a conviction if they can draw a direct line to you using ill-gotten gains in your criminal enterprise to anything on as far as an asset that they can seize, force you to sell, or get you into bankruptcy. That's where they actually are getting ready to do. And the house that you living in now could be a part of that. I think what's going to end up happening. He said he was a real estate developer. I was wondering if he was on this scam that they were on the back end packaging these mortgage deals in some elaborate Ponzi scheme. That's what I actually think that was probably going on as far as what he was doing prior to and even maybe doing up until his business partner was raided. And if that's the case, we're talking about he could be on the hook for millions. And then her place that she is in now, she's going to actually probably need a place, Gina, somewhere else to crash. Her ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband, and she's going to have to figure it out for herself because he's getting ready to get hemmed up with a federal investigation. We're talking about seized assets, another eviction, et cetera, et cetera. And it could be hemmed up for years if they don't settle out of court or allowed to settle out of court. And we've only heard the crust of it. Tamara Judge mentioning that stuff at that ill-fated dinner is nothing about probably what the feds are getting ready to bring. She's going to need to, instead of sticking her head in some weird yoga pose, she's going to have to get her head out of it so she won't be implicated in it and secure hers and her children's safety. That should be paramount instead of sitting and getting glam. I'm just saying.
For fake life.
So that's how we're going to end this episode. And I'm going to end it with a positive word. I used to scoff at people making this statement because of its simplicity, or maybe because it sounded more like an admonishment that I was being everything but kind. But then when I started investigating it for myself, that's when I realized that I was confusing politeness with kindness. Politeness is a fake, superficial manner in which there's no required investment, no self-reflection. But being kind is an adjective. It is an action. If you're kind to yourself first, it's like exercise memory. You will continue and be kind to others. Let that sit with you for a while. I'm going to try to be kind to myself. I'll be kind to others. It's very simple, and you got to repeat it. Lean into the spirit of a new year by counting your blessings, giving to others, and spreading happiness. I know I will. And this episode or this podcast is my means to spread joy and happiness and light and enlightenment. There's so much going on with aggression and just meanness. But if I can leave you with one small positive thought, start your day with that, that can change everything for you. And just basically change your day. Don't forget to check out Dale's Angels Inc. for the notes on this podcast, as well as other works by CQM that are, and other contributors that are in work or in being edited right now. Also, check out my Instagram feed, TNFro is Reading. You can check me out on Facebook, TNFro is Reading Book Club, as well as my YouTube channel, TNFro is Reading and Eating. And what I'm just chatting and streaming at TV Food Wine Girl on Twitter. Navigate to Writer's Block Coffee or shipabagadicks.com. Use my promo code TNFro Coffee or TNFro Got Jokes respectively to get a percentage off of your order. Don't forget to drop me a line at TNFroisreading@gmail.com. All non-trolling messages may be actually read online, and you can do the same if you are in Podbean or Anchor or wherever you listen to the podcast. And again, shedding light and positivity. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Until next time, bye.